All right, welcome back to yet another episode of the Growth Podcast. Today on the podcast, or should I say this week on the podcast, I've got someone who's very passionate about entrepreneurship. He is an entrepreneur himself, so obviously he'll give us a bit more basics around his journey and everything. But also just a reminder, remember to like the video, tell your friend about the podcast, and then also please feel free to subscribe so that every week when we release a new video on Wednesdays, you do not miss out on nothing. Okay, so let's get now into our guest who's going to basically give a brief introduction of himself. Edwin Ngwane. Well, obviously you don't need as much introduction to those who read books or to those who are passionate about entrepreneurship. But welcome to the Growth Podcast.
Thank you very much, Wilanja. I'm so excited to be on your podcast.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
When I first met you, you were working in a bank. You never looked like the kind of guy who was, so big on business and entrepreneurship. Run me through the transition. How did you move from banking to hustling? I'm calling it hustling because I'm calling it hustling.
Yeah, I'm a certified hustler. That's what I call myself. So the transition from banking to hustling, which is business, started when I realized that I'm not going to build as much wealth as I want being in the job. So I realized, while I was working, I worked for the bank for 10 years. And through the journey, I got promotions. Like, I'm not like somebody who got frustrated that I wasn't getting promoted, I was stuck. No, I wasn't stuck. I had moved myself from being a teller to a customer service manager at Kablonga. So my journey was actually moving in the right direction. Yeah. So my career was actually on course. But financially, I knew things were not as good as they looked. I had a very good position, yes. People used to look at me and admire me, yes. But myself, I wasn't convinced that I'm going to build the wealth I wanted. So my background comes from street trading. So I used to be at City Market. I used to trade at City Market. So even when I was working in the bank, I had a background of trading. I had a background of doing business. So when I got into the bank and I realized the money was not enough, I started side hustles. So like I would have a boutique there. I would have a restaurant there. I would have small business here and there. So when I realized that this job thing is not working in terms of finances, I just now decided to spend more time in the business and work towards the business.
Interesting. And you are also an author. You've got, is it 4 books?
I've got 3 published books to my name.
Okay, 3. Okay, business that's Hustle Like a West African, Sell Like a Prostitute. Is it?
How to market and sell like a prostitute. Yes.
And the latest one, which is Flip the Coin. Is there money in books?
There isn't.
And I'm asking because people in Zambia say our reading culture is very bad. And then here is this guy that says, you know what, I'm going to author 3 books in a country where the reading culture is bad. Run me through the business of authoring books.
So it's the same question as, is there money in music? Okay? It's the same question as, is there money in art? Is there money in media? It depends on who's running it. Because there is a concept behind every art. So writing is art. You can just write because you're passionate about art and fail to make money off art. But I'm a person who's business minded. So I do sell my books. I do make money off my books. That's for sure, because I know the business model around books. I know how to market books and I know how to sell books.
All right.
So I do make money off books, yes.
And then earlier you mentioned that you were in a job and you're doing these side hustles. I do that also. I'm in a full-time job at the moment. I do my side hustles. And the challenge I've noticed is that most people, especially those I know should have side hustles, don't have them because they've convinced themselves I'm a career person. Let me focus on my career. And, business is not for me. And what's your advice to people like that?
You see, whenever I hear this pushback of I cannot do a side hustle, I understand what people talk about. You see, in Zambia, when we say doing business, everybody's thinking of trading at Soweto Market, selling rice, going to Tanzania and get clothes and come and sell, or open a boutique, open this, do that. And that's how people look at business. But let's talk of somebody who's in media. Let's talk of a journalist who's in media and want a career path of journalism. So you mean that person can't do it like what you're doing, a podcast as a side hustle, because it's within what they know. You mean that person cannot become a publicist? Can they become a PR consultant? So the problem comes when we are thinking about business in terms of trading and opening a shop, is selling, what is this called, long reach and all that. It's not always like that. Sometimes you just become a consultant and provide self-employment somewhere. So you can still do a side hustle consulting, side hustle writing, side hustle media, side hustle radio, side hustle DJing, side hustle dancing, side hustle something. There are so many things you can do out of your talent and skills. Okay,
and then obviously the whole idea behind building a side hustle is so that I am testing the waters while in employment. I'm testing to see, will this work, what will not work. When the side hustle then gains ground and is on its feet, what should I consider before I leave the side hustle? I leave my full-time job to focus 100% on building my side hustle and making it my main thing.
Yes, it will actually, the business that you are building as a side hustle will tell you that I think the job I have now is becoming useless. It will tell you, the business will actually start demanding more and it will start paying you more. And then the salary will become just very insignificant. You will tell yourself that you will start actually spending more time on the business. I've seen people that I used to work with, you find that he's always getting reprimands at work for absenteeism, coming late, because now he has realized that the more time he spends on the business is becoming more beneficial than being at work. I didn't believe in that myself. Whilst I was working at Standard Chartered Bank, I was full-time working at Standard Chartered Bank, never missed time. I wasn't absent. I was always in my job. But what I did was, I told myself, when I get to a point where my salary is, my income outside my salary is like 2 times, 3 times my current salary, and it's consistent for 1 year, it will tell me that I've reached a point where I need to focus more on the business.
All right. So the businesses that you do, I think most people know you more for the books and for the speaking.
Yes.
So,
though I don't speak.
You don't speak?
No. I rarely.
You just rant on social media.
I rant on social media. I don't speak.
You're a rantist.
I'm a rantist.
So, look, why for me that translated as speaking is because I wanted you to tell me, do you classify yourself as a motivational speaker?
I don't classify myself as a motivational speaker because no one has paid me to speak. From the time that I've been a writer, I've never been paid to speak, never. So there's no one who has actually paid me to motivate them.
But don't your books do that?
So I could say I'm a motivational self-help writer, yes, but not speaker.
And I'm asking because in the past there's been this thing where people are saying, look, you can motivate yourself, you don't need someone to motivate you, your poverty will motivate you, these motivational speakers just want to get your money, why don't they do it for free and whatnot like that. And that's what I was asking, because the only difference between you and the traditional motivational speaker is, instead of you speaking to an audience at an event, you're speaking to them in a book and you're making them pay for the book.
Yes, they have to pay for the book.
So you see, there's no difference.
There's no difference. There's aspirational, inspirational part of it, of my books, but most of my books are business. It's somebody who just wants motivation will not like my books either way, because my books challenge you that you have to start a business, you have to make more money, you have to build wealth. That's where I'm coming from, because I come from poverty and I navigated out of poverty. But let's go into, is motivation important? Is it something that people should pay for? And are these motivational speakers worth listening to? Should just people listen to Ndambo? There was a rich man called Ndambo.
There was. It's still there.
It's still there. And I'll tell you what I think. If people don't want to listen to a motivational speaker, I have massive respect for such people. Massive respect. It is a choice. But I'll tell you, there are people who were going through a rough patch and they just listened to one word of inspiration and their lives changed. It's like church. There are people who've been drinking, they've been womanizing, they've been in all sorts of lives. And one day they just heard somebody preaching. These same pastors you call papas, they heard somebody preaching, and in that instance their lives changed. So there are people, yes, they think motivational is work. It doesn't help them in any way. That's fine. That's also fine. Much respect to such people. But there are actually people whose lives have changed because, and one of those people is me. At a very young age, I read a book, one book. It's called Think and Grow Rich. I read it when I was in grade 8.
Napoleon Hill.
Immediately, I knew there is a thinking which is wrong and there is a thinking which is right. And I realized it's time to start thinking right.
Interesting. Along your journey, in your career, and obviously when you switched into business, what is it that you learned being a full-time entrepreneur that you couldn't learn being a side hustle entrepreneur? What things did you see in the real business world when you left your job that you never knew about or were not privy to when you are comfortable in your employment?
Actually, I realized something. When you become an entrepreneur, models open. Because you see, when you're still employed, and this is, I realize now, when you're still employed, there are certain opportunities that don't get open to you because of the time. So you're always at work. So there are people who never bring certain opportunities to you because they are always thinking you are tied to your job, you can't move. So they will not offer you certain opportunities because of restrictions of travel, restrictions of hours. There are certain business opportunities, they will never just come to you. But when they understand that, okay, this guy is available at any time. I've got clients now who call me, come now. There's something that must be done. Are you okay with this amount? I'm like, yes, I can come right now. I get those businesses that are decided instantly. But the time I used to work for the bank, I could do the same things that I'm doing now. While I was working in the bank, I couldn't go to where the client was because I was on a desk serving other clients.
Interesting. And also the other thing I wanted to find out is, in Zambia, how hard or how easy, from your experience, do you think it is for an entrepreneur to thrive? How hard or how easy is it?
It's very hard to succeed in business in Zambia. And I shouldn't, you see, the fact that I promote business doesn't mean that I'm saying business is easy. No, business is not easy. The only thing that, the only reason why I promote business is because I understand it's a surest way of becoming rich. There isn't any other way. The surest way of becoming massively wealthy is through business. But business in Zambia is not easy. If you just look at how it's structured, the barriers to entry starts at Pakra. The things they ask for. Some people who haven't, got the right education can't make it. So people who are not educated, you find that at Pakra they will struggle a lot. Then let's go now with these other council permits, all these permits. I'm so much against some of these permits because you see, they don't make sense. You pay business levy permit, trading license permit, a what permit, this permit, liquor permit. Come on, how many permits should somebody pay for? Before they even start business, they don't even have the right capital. They have to pay for so many permits. As if that's not enough, you find that NAPSA visits you whilst you are just organizing your business. No, how have you registered people? I'm not against, the registration protecting employees' welfare, but you find that's a reason why sometimes people decide not to do certain things because they feel if I do that, then I'll fight with NAPSA. I'm going to be fighting with this. So there is somehow where we have to make it so easy for an uneducated person, because I don't like this idea of making business for the elite. Even somebody who's a grade 9 should succeed in business. Let's make it so easy for people that are not educated, for people that don't have a lot of money, for women, for the disabled, for everybody to succeed in business. And that is what I rant about on social media. the government has to make it easier for business people to succeed in business. At the end of it, if they succeed, the government succeeds, they tax more and they get more money from business people.
Interesting. Something else I wanted to bring to your attention. I think, when was that? A few days ago, I posted on my social media asking people if partnerships have worked for them. Because at the end of the day, no business person can thrive on their own. You may have skills that I may not have. Yes, I may have the money, but I'm limited with ideas. How do we make successful partnerships? How can we make a partnership work from your experience?
Actually, in the book, Flip the Coin, I tackled the part of collaboration. Success through collaboration. I have come to realize there's a gentleman called Ballmer. He was a CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah.
This gentleman is worth about $63 to $69 billion, and he has never owned a business except Microsoft. So he used to work for Microsoft and invested in Microsoft, and at the end of the day, he had so much shares in Microsoft and walked away with billions. It's the collaboration, because he was a friend to Bill Gates. He worked with Bill Gates. They collaborated together, and Bill Gates said, you can work with me as we are building this thing together. And he ended up becoming a billionaire. I will tell you that the biggest challenge with entrepreneurship in Zambia, it's a kind of the me thing. So as I am doing my business now, it's Kawiwi and me. I feel good that Kawiwi is mine. I'm going to succeed as Mr. Ngwane Kawiwi, and Edwin Ngwane. And it, to some extent, it makes you feel good that, your company succeed. But what if that company does not succeed? Because you did not invite Suwilanji to bring in a certain skill or some money and take Kawiwi to another level. So there is a sense of ownership we want on the business, which ends up not working. But again, there are issues of trust. There is also some reasons why people don't want to work together with other people, because some have not worked because, some people took advantage of them. And there were so many issues. So what I feel is we need, from the onset, when you want to work with somebody else, make sure you legalize the relationship. Let's not start businesses based on friendship. No, because Munandi Sana, we get along, so I'm gonna do business. No, even if that person is your friend, your brother, your sister, your uncle, make sure it is business. There has to be a contract. It should be very legal. And if possible, distance yourself from the business, allow someone else to run it. If you're going to run the business together, make sure you earn a salary and no one takes money out of the business without, the authorization of the other. Because these are the issues that come in most of these startup businesses where there is collaboration.
Yeah, because the truth is, I've actually noticed that for most people, it's that thing where you have a business idea and you hold it close to your chest like it's a card,
Yeah.
And you don't want the other person to see, because you think, if this business makes 1 million kwacha, it's all mine. The idea that I should split it 3 ways.
Yeah.
Because
selfishness.
Also, I've learned, there was something I came across where it says it's better you own 5% of something very big.
Yes.
Than you own 100% of something very small.
Very small.
And I think that's where most of us then get to miss it. The other thing I want to find out from you is, as a businessman, which you are, from the money your business makes, how much do you pay yourself?
So right now I've put myself on a 15,000 salary because we are not big enough, but I want to start paying myself 100.
How much does a business make?
The business makes around 50. Somewhere there, collectively.
So my reason for asking the question is in terms of, is that 15,000 a percentage, or is just based on your needs or your expenses as the CEO of the business?
Mostly it's just based on our lifestyle. So there is a stretch. And I have to be very honest with you that it's a stretch on the business because of the needs of the business, the needs of our lives. And I'm also a believer that I don't like the idea of me suffering because of the business. Me, I want to live my life. while as the business also grows. I don't want the idea of me suffering for the business to succeed. I want us to grow together. I want us to enjoy together, to build together. The business should grow at a certain rate, and I should also wear suits, buy myself a car, take my children to school, buy nice food, and all that kind of thing. Because if I'm going to neglect myself, what is the motivation for running the business? If also I'm going to neglect the business, then the business will die. So I like the steady balance. I should be taken care of, and the business should be taken care of.
All right, and I'm very, I wouldn't say passionate, but I'm very interested most of the time to hear people's views on this in terms of the business and its money, and then the owner and his money, especially for those that are remember a thing that at Nashana Neka Party, remember Nashana Neka Party, so Nashana Neka business,
yes,
where I'm basically alone in the business.
Mm-hmm.
If the business makes a sale of 50,000 kwacha today, I can blow it tomorrow, and no one will say anything because they don't know. You get the point? There's no that accountability, because also I've learned that most of these like investors, I learned that from CJ some few weeks ago. He said most investors are more likely to give money to a business which has maybe 3 directors and they're all active than a business where it's just Edwin Ngwane. And as I'm saying, how then do I manage money which belongs to the business? And then there's also money which belongs to the individual.
True. I'll tell you the issue of having directors in the business. Like I have my assistant, so I have an assistant now at the office. The reason why I had to hire an assistant is to make me accountable, and not just on money, but on how I spend time. Sometimes when it's your own business, you want to report for work at any time you want. You want to knock off at any time you want, and now that I have an assistant, you find that before I know it, my calendar is full. So I'm forced at 8 there's a meeting, at 9 there's also another meeting, then at 12 there's. So you find that without realizing, this guy has actually booked me the whole day.
Yeah.
Then I realize, there is an accountability of time. Now we need an accountant for the business. We haven't hired. But most businesses, I think the challenge is they do not have the enough funds in the business to pay so many employees. So you find that you are hesitant. So you are kind of the marketing guy, you're the CEO, you are the accountant, you are the lawyer. You would rather outsource certain things than employing. The reason is there isn't enough money in the beginning to hire so many people, because then you are going to take the business down because of employing, because the resources can't manage to pay everyone.
All right, and now I want us to talk about marketing. Mm-hmm. Okay, with social media, obviously marketing a business has become very easy. What are some marketing strategies that you think work for small businesses?
Facebook marketing works big time. A lot of people see me on Facebook, and I like people who meet me at the mall and he's a Facebook celeb. I'm like, thanks, because that's how I sell books. To tell you the truth, now there is TikTok. Yes, I know there is Facebook marketing. Now there is TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I've got 19 followers. I don't even know why they follow me.
I have a problem with you, because you know what? I have a problem with you, Suilanji, because I really don't understand why you can't be on TikTok.
I can't dance, I can't sing, because I don't do.
That's a problem.
TikTok is for dancing and singing and and promoting music.
No, it's not. You can actually just upload some of these podcasts on TikTok. You can just upload clips where just like this one.
Yeah.
You can upload 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds on TikTok. So I feel social media marketing is huge. And the way you do it is you do it according to the way it's been customized. So the way it has been laid out, but then you customize it. So like TikTok, yes, there's a lot of music, background and what and shan. Yes, it is. But you can still throw in educational content with the same music, with the same trending songs, educational content, and short videos. Because I think it's more of a short video platform.
Yeah.
It's working. I'll tell you, There's audience that I never had, especially the young ones. There's that audience that I have now. I never had it. And the growth on TikTok is quick. It's fast. You find people just follow you for really, you don't even have to fight it. So social media is huge. So TikTok, Facebook, and also another platform I should mention is LinkedIn. A lot of people don't want to be on LinkedIn because they think it's too formal. Just jump there, throw in your 2 cents, and you find that you can grow also there, because that's where you find CEOs, decision makers there. So like for Kawiu Financial, I know for sure that if I want to get decision makers to make decisions of pension, life insurance, funeral cover, health insurance for their business, where am I going to find them? I'm going to find them on LinkedIn. So these platforms are good, and you might find that you don't spend any money to get the people to do business with you. But there's a lot of work that must be done, especially on your part, because you'll be navigating from one platform to another, changing your mood swings, because you can't have the same mood swing of TikTok and bring it on LinkedIn.
No, you can't. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Edwin, is I think I saw you advertising that you do some sales consultancy, you help people in their sales and whatnot. When it comes to sales for a business, what is it that you've noticed that are the common mistakes people make when they're conducting their sales?
So, to be honest, on this platform, sales is huge. Like from prospecting, nurturing a prospect, closing steps, and what. There are too many steps and I've noticed that they are the things that many businesses don't understand. So telling a customer, come and buy this, is not closing, it's not prospecting, it's just you introducing someone to a product. And a lot of Zambians, the only thing they know is, hello, I'm selling this, as a way to sell. No, that's not selling. Do you even understand what I want? Because sometimes our biggest challenge is that we are selling to the wrong people. The wrong people altogether. So we have what we call qualifying. Have you qualified this prospect? Is he the person that can buy Lamborghini? Because why should you be selling a Lamborghini to anybody? You have to sell a Lamborghini to somebody who can afford a Lamborghini. So I think there is that mismatch. But when the 3 things that I should mention about sales, number 1 is that any business out there must know how to market and sell. Otherwise, very soon they'll be out of business. And I know that they will be out of business because a business cannot survive without client acquisition. That's number 1. Number 2 is that as they are selling, they need to understand that there is a niche. This podcast has a niche. There is no way we are going to build this podcast like any other podcast. So this podcast must have a certain kind of people who are going to be listening to this podcast. And we need to understand that audience and say, what do they want? What is their age group? Are they women? Are they men? Are they interested in business or personal development? So we need to understand that. So even a business must understand who are their clients before they even market. The third I would throw in is service through sales. Or is it sales through service? A lot of businesses have got pathetic service. So they get clients in and the clients move out through the next door because the service within the business cannot keep a client. So there is what we call sales through service, because once I get you inside the business, I treat you so well, then you will go out there, tell as many people as possible, man, I want you to come and see where I eat. I want you to come and see where I cut my hair. I want you to come and see where I buy clothes. I want you to come and see where I do this. Why? Because the service managed to sell itself.
There have been some complaints on social media about some businesses. Others are in makeup. Others are in, what else? Makeup, hair and whatnot, where when the person was starting, they're very humble, very outgoing, very customer-centric and whatnot. But then now, as the business grows, their head also grows. So now because now I'm dealing with celebrities and whatnot, I then begin to give you my first-time customer who was there for me in the beginning some kind of attitude, or I'm not as good to average customers. I'm paying attention to the celebrities, the H&Is and whatnot. Where do you think people get it wrong in terms of taking care of even customers who have very little buying power, and they deject them because they want to give attention to those who have got a lot of money and they're big, and because let's say a minister of foreign affairs said, I buy my shoes from Edwin. It makes more sense than you giving attention to Sui, who just buys one shoe in 6 months. I don't know if you're getting my point.
I really get your point. I think it's an issue of business growth and the challenges of the growth that comes with it. And I think that's where we get it wrong, because you see, as a business is growing, the demand becomes higher, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we have new customers. Obviously, this is premium. So we have now premium clients coming in. And to be very honest, premium clients are very demanding, and they'll demand more of the let's say it's a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge also of these kind of businesses where they depend on one human being to save all of them. So, to be very honest with you, it comes with the territory. They will have to drop those that can pay the right amount and focus on the premium clients. But how they drop them, they must be systematic. Okay, so in business, I wrote it in How to Market and Sell Like a Prostitute. If you do not train people, okay, within your business to do your business the same way you do it, then you haven't done a good job, and it will be very difficult for you to scale. So what you're supposed to do is to replicate you. So you are now going to create 4, 5, 6 different versions of Edwin Ngwane. You are going to come to our office and say that to my people that look like Edwin Ngwane, speak like Edwin Ngwane, close deals like Edwin Ngwane, and walk like Edwin Ngwane, the confidence like Edwin Ngwane, doing everything like Edwin Ngwane. How? You've trained them that way. So I'll give an example of a hairstylist. A hairstylist who's very good and loved must be able to train people within himself, within his business, who can do the hairstyling exactly as he does it. Because now the fear is that when they train them, they will run away and
that
create.
was going to my next question.
That's a fear. But you see, training people to become like you is still good, because you kind of contribute to the growth, because skills have to be nurtured, developed, and then you become part of the growth of the industry. You can't be worried that if I teach them, then they're going to run away. Either way, they'll be loyal to you, and you'll be part of their story.
Interesting. And what would you say from your experience in your training in sales are some techniques in selling that just make it easier for you to get your products off your shelf?
Personal branding. I'll tell you that branding is huge. So who has most followers in this country?
The most followers?
Yeah, Facebook followers.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
As in an individual?
As an individual.
Must be Your Maps, I think.
Oh, Your Maps. Okay, cool. Let's use Your Maps as an example. So if Your Maps today, I'm an author, right? If Your Maps today was to write a book, I don't care the content, but it was just maybe to document his life, of how he started music and where he is right now, I can tell you that Your Maps is most likely to sell 10,000 copies the very day that he launches that book, which could be more than the books I've sold on Hustle Like a West African, which is a very a best-selling book, right? Why? Because Your Maps has a brand. So he has an authority. So there is an authority that he has through those followers. So because when he just talks about, I have a book, guys, the downloads will be maybe 100,000. The buying will be, because the people already love you. So whatever you bring on, they want to jive with it. They want to go with it because it's nice, because they love you. They buy because they love you. So personal branding is key when it comes to sales and marketing. I would urge any person out there who thinks these things of building a personal brand is just, one of those two things. No, it is key for sales and marketing. It is key. Check out Elon Musk. Why is he always controversial on Twitter? Because he knows that he's actually part of the marketing and selling of Tesla products as well as SpaceX. Because every time he's talking about SpaceX, people listen because he's there. Look at Kanye West. Kanye West and the Yeezy shoes. Sometimes people make fun of him, but he sells them, guys. So the branding around Kanye West and the Yeezys helps to sell the sneakers. So I feel personal branding, if I was to give just a simple advice to somebody, guys, invest in personal branding. It helps also to sell the company.
Does personal branding translate to fame? Do you have to be famous for you to have a personal brand?
No. And when I say fame, because people think fame is having a lot of followers. There are people who have a lot of followers, but they don't have authority. And there are people who have a few followers and they have authority. I would give you a top name here, Mizinga Melu. Mizinga Melu is an authority brand. This is a commanding name. But there are names that I won't mention. They can have as million followers. They don't have that authority. So fame, you can be famous, but you can be famous for the wrong reason. You might not have the authority, but still famous.
All right, now let's talk about still the subject of selling. Some people have businesses and they sell for cash, and then others sell for credit. Would you advise people to sell things for credit? And why I'm saying that is because sometimes you have stock. For example, I sell laptops, and I've had these laptops in my shop or my store, and it's not moving. And now I'm tempted, you know what, just give me, you start paying pangon.
Okay.
Would you advise someone to have some payment plans or selling by credit and whatnot?
Do you have a gun?
No, I don't have a gun. I don't have a gun.
Oh, you don't have a gun?
No.
I feel if you want to go sell on credit, you need to buy a gun. Because, guys, it's hard to get the money back. You see, I do not have a problem with credit business. But you should notice the guys that thrive in credit businesses are ruthless. Most of them. Most of the people that are good, you should see the guys that give things on credit. And they're very nice. I'm selling this on credit. The next time he's coming, he's pulling your kids, I'm getting this TV. I don't care. Emotional attachment to anything. They don't care. So I feel if you want to sell things on credit, you must have the ruthless in you to get the money back. You know why? People don't have the money. People right now don't have the money. Like, the economy is so bad, it's dry. So to get that money back, you have to be strong, man.
Would you say the same about money lending business? Because people are making money.
Hey, actually, if it's that business, I wouldn't even want to go into it.
But there's money. People are making money.
Yes. Go and check out all the money lenders. These are guys that you don't play with. Maybe heartless is a word to use, but wrongly so. But they don't care. You can give all your excuses. They are going to get that money back. But the softness in me, you see, you need to analyze yourself. Self-awareness is very good in business. You need to analyze yourself to say, if somebody does not pay me the money, does not pay back the money, do I have the guts to get his car keys? Do I have the guts to go in his house and go grab that television? Do I have the guts, to insult this guy so that he gives me the money? Because sometimes that's what they do. The Shylocks, that's what they do to get the money back. You need to be ruthless to be a money lender.
All right. Also, the other challenge that most other people have is, I want to start a business, but the market is saturated. So this business I want to start, there are a lot of other people that are doing the exact same business. They're making money, they're established, they've got the brands, and here is common old John just starting out. How do I claim my place in a saturated market? Service is one. I'll tell you, if you check out, because I come from the banking background, sector, most of the banks are the same. Like, their tariffs are the same. The tariffs are the same. Their lending rates they are regulated by the Bank of Zambia, so they're almost the same. But what differentiates most of these banks is service. So
Can you customize service? Can you personalize service? Can you be nicer? Can you be somebody that has a personality that is likable? Can you be that person? Can you introduce certain type of music? Boom, 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 boom. That's the music that you want to play so that it's local. It's like, people are not listening to this. It could, you know what I mean? So customizing the service, making it more pleasant than your competitors is key. The other one, I will tell you, it's not common, but if you want to stand out in a business, like you starting out, like you're really starting out, and the other guys have dominated the market, is to do it the Trade King's way. Drop the price, find a better source. Drop the price, just drop the price, find a very cheap source and drop the price. Hey, it works all the time.
There's what's the name again? Strive Masiyiwa had posted something, and then in the comments there was this guy that said, in our company we were selling, I won't mention the product, and then our competitors decided to lower the price. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then us as a company, our strategy, our chairman said, guys, let's raise our price. And their sales went up because with the higher price, there's higher perceived value.
Mm-hmm.
Most people won't buy something because it's cheap, because they assume it's cheap quality, it will wear out soon, it will go bad, or it will die.
Mm-hmm.
So how then do you strike a balance between lowering your price to increase sales, or higher your price? Increasing your price so that it gives a higher perceived value in the mind of the customer?
You see, when you go to business segmentation, you're going to realize that there are people who buy because they're buying needs and wants. There is that category.
Yeah.
And then there is experiences and value. There are these people. The super rich, the rich people, the people that they don't buy needs. They want to experience. So for me, I just want, a drink I can drink. For some people, and say, what is this drink made of? What is it? Where was it made? This is for the rich people. So I'll tell you this. The guys that raise the prices, they invest highly in marketing. A small business cannot do that. If you check the perfumes, the luxury cars, the luxury homes, anything that is luxury and high price, iPhones, the marketing that is behind those products is in millions. But if you want to penetrate the market, and the market which is cheap, just lower the price. It's a best strategy for entering a new market. It's a best strategy because you are going to make small margins, but it will make you get known. Because at the end of the day, all you want is people to come to your business, get used to your business, and later increase the prices.
All right. What would be, and this is my last question, by the way, what would be your top 3 pieces of advice to a Zambian entrepreneur?
I'll not give them any advice. Let them fail.
Okay. Why would you be so heartless?
Because, Zambians, when you give them advice, these motivational speakers, they are giving advice without asking for it. But, okay, let me be very honest. Don't give advice to someone who doesn't want it.
But the others who may want it.
So those that want the advice, they should read my books.
And why would you say let them fail?
Most people are not willing to do what is required to become successful. That is what I feel. And sometimes the best way to make them succeed is actually to tell them that you're gonna fail.
So the fear of failure will make them want to work harder.
Kind of.
All right, thank you, Edwin. So you guys, thank you very much, first of all, for the time that you've been with us. I've been talking to Edwin Ngwane. How can people find you on Facebook?
So I'm Mr. Kawiwi on all socials. You go to TikTok, Mr. Kawiwi, LinkedIn, Mr. Kawiwi, Instagram, Mr. Kawiwi, Facebook, Mr. Kawiwi.
I thought Facebook is Edwin Ngwane.
No. Mr. Kawiwi as the what is it called? The handle.
Or the handle. Or at Mr. Kawiwi.
At Mr. Kawiwi.
All right. Thank you so much. Our next episode is coming next week on Wednesday. Remember, subscribe, share the video, and also just keep telling people about the podcast so that we can have as many people as possible. We'll bring motivational speakers like him, who is denying he's a motivational speaker, but in the background, it's just personal branding. So, it's a branding strategy. Otherwise, thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next video.